Doo-wop, that thing from the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album that was pretty successful. Made a bit of noise. Here's my side of that story. Back in '97, I was working with a young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed rapper named Common. And he was working on his One Day Will All Make Sense album. Now, I did a song with him with Questlove and Eryka Badu called All Night Long. And a few weeks after that, he gives me a call saying, hey, I'm working on a song in New York with Lauryn Hill that I did with my longtime producer, No ID. Shout out to Dion. And there's a sample in it that we want to replay and get rid of. And we figured you could come up with something creative and dope for it. Cool. Go to the studio. Again, Dion and Common are there. Lauryn is there with a couple guys from the production crew that was working with her in Newark. I think Ted and Jahari were there. I think Vader and Kilo might have been there also. Can't really remember. So they're coming up messing with ideas that they think could do to replace the sample. And I say, what if we play it like this? The song is called Retrospect for Life. So we recorded that. Boom, the song came out pretty cool. So a few weeks later, I get a call from Lauryn. Says, can you come to North Jersey? So I go to her house up in North Jersey the morning, and we have a conversation. She was like, I'm working on my first solo album, and I think that you would fit right in with what I'm trying to do and working with the guys I have working on this album. Again, she was working with the Newark production company, which was Vader, Kilo, Ted and Jahari. And she was also working with a producer named Che Pope, my brother Che. So cool. She said, it would be cool for you to come in and possibly write some things, and co-produce some things, and play on some things. I was like, bet, let's do it. So we get to coming up with ideas. We go in the studio. We go to Sony Studios back when there was a Sony Studios. And we work on a song called Superstar. And that was the first song that we worked on. And I'll never forget that session. I think that's the first day that I actually met my brother Che. And he brought in a cassette and dropped it in the tape deck, which was The Beat for Zion. That's another song that I played keys on also. So we worked on some things. I would go up again to New York and North Jersey and hang out for days and weeks at a time. I would actually crash in the baby Zion in his bedroom, and go in the studio and come up with ideas. She was also working on other projects at the same time too. She produced a song for Santana, and she did a song for Aretha Franklin. I remember getting a call like 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm in my studio in Philly, and she said, hey, can you get up here to New York? We're in Chung King Studios. And so I jump in my car and I drive up to New York, and she's working on the song A Rose is Still a Rose. So I play the keys on that song, and of course that was Aretha's first single from this album that she was working on. And coincidentally, when that single dropped, Eryka had to do some TV spot dates to promote the single, and I was asked to be in the band for that, so which was cool. So I did a couple TV dates with her, And that song was dropped around the same time as Grammys, and the Grammys were in New York that time. So we played the Clive Davis pre-Grammy party on that Saturday night, and I was in the hotel Sunday, and I turned the TV on to watch the show, to watch the Grammys, I should say, and there's Aretha, and this was when she filled in for Pavarotti in that phenomenal, famous performance. And I just remember sitting there like, oh my goodness, like this is the goddess, this is the queen of soul. And I was fortunate and blessed enough to work with her. The next few days I think we did Regis and Kathy Lee and some other shows, and we did Letterman, which was memorable because when we went to the sound check in the morning. Now, Letterman is notorious for keeping the studio ice brick cold. And so the band is set up ready to sound check, and the queen walks to the mic and goes, and just walks right off. It was too cold for her. She doesn't like it as cold as that. So I remember the stagehands running around. Biff, I don't know if any Letterman fans that do remember the show, but I remember Biff Henderson, or whatever his name, Biff from the show, running around with the other stagehands, getting space heaters and putting it in place so we could rehearse. And then we did the song that night. So that was my brief experience working with the Queen of Soul. Rest in peace. You are the true queen, one of the greatest voices of all time. So back to Lauryn. So again, we're in the studio coming up with ideas, writing things. There's a song that we vibed on. That ended up featuring D'Angelo. And I remember one day we're in the attic of a house in Jersey, listening to some records and coming up with some ideas. Just try this. I'll try this. What I do when I'm co-writing a song, I've done it with a lot of the artists I work with Mariah or Eryka or whoever. I'm playing, and this is what we're doing, we're vibing. And this idea comes out. Boom. And I remember that we had the idea, and we went to Chunking Studios, put the idea down, put a beat on it. I played a bunch of different instruments on there. I even sang background on the song. Check the credits. Yeah, I sang. Don't laugh. So we go down to Jamaica and work at the famous Bob Marley studio, Tough Gong Studios, which is cool. And because, my parents from Yard. So, it was cool being in the homeland working on some music. It was cool just being around the Marley vibes. It was kind of cool. So we get back to some other ideas that we're working on. Everybody's vibing together, and then towards the end of the album, things start to get a little interesting. Again, towards the end of the album, everybody's saying, "Okay, I did this, or I did this, and I did this, and how are the credits going to play out?" And conversations aren't being held, I should say. You're trying to reach management, or trying to reach El Boogie, as I call her. They're like, "Yo, what's up? Oh, hello? All right, cool." So again, things got a bit interesting. The Newark guys filed a lawsuit, and we know how their story went after some years of back and forth and battling. They got payment and credit for the things they did. I filed a lawsuit also, and after a few weeks though, it was bugging me. I didn't want to go through an extended thing because I knew it was going to be a long, drawn out thing, and I was like, I'm good. Again, I'm never gonna say that Lauryn Hill isn't talented. She was a dope vocalist, a dope MC, got wonderful musical ideas. She definitely had a plan and a vision for what she wanted to do on this album. I helped her get some of those visions out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I did anything 100%, just me, but the small percentage that I did, it would have been cool to get the credit for. So again, I dropped the lawsuit. I didn't want to be bothered with it. Che also, it was like, I'm gonna chalk it up. It's a L, whatever. I'm gonna keep moving, and kept moving. You know, I believe that God had a plan for me and was like, yo, you good, yo. I got you. And to this day, I believe it. What, 20 something years later, I'm good. I'm in a good position, and God is taking care of me. Again, the Vader dudes, shout out to them dudes. They went on and have gone, and again, the lawsuit proved them correct, and they've gone on to work on other projects. Che has gone on to work with countless others, from Dr. Dre to Hans Zimmer to Kanye West. I've gone on and done some cool things myself. I know who I am, and I know my self-worth, and I know that I'm good. So shout out to L Boogie. Shout out to Lauryn Hill, to Miss Hill. Shout out to Lauryn Hill. Oh, that's what I call you. I've seen her. She's been on the show a few times. She even performed doo-wop on the show, which was kind of funny because the rest of the Roots were all looking at me like, but it's whatever. It's all good. There's a certain DJ with an afro that whenever he's DJing and I'm there, he makes sure to play that song. Because he does know that it was hard for me to hear that song for a minute. I think I've listened to that album maybe 3 times over the last 20 years. Well, back then, when the song came on the radio and it was everywhere. It was it won Song of the Year or something, and won her a couple Grammys or whatever. Yeah, I turned it off. But I have no hatred for anybody. And there's a lesson there for any of you young guys in the music biz. Stuff is going to happen. You're not truly in the music business unless something happens like this. You don't grow unless there's some dirt thrown on you. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be careful. You know what I mean? You gotta take precautions. Be smart. Learn as much as you can. And like the song says, be careful. Watch out.